The Power of Consistency. Small Steps, Big Results. Written by Ronnie Rowland. Published by Growth Literacy Lounge. In a world obsessed with quick fixes and instant gratification, the idea of lasting success often feels elusive. Everywhere you look, there's a new hack, shortcut, or 30-day miracle plan promising transformation overnight. But if you've ever tried one of these, you already know the truth: they don't work. The real secret to success isn't glamorous. It isn't flashy or Instagram-worthy. It's simple. Consistency. Consistency is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's not about taking massive leaps or achieving perfection. It's about showing up every day and taking small, deliberate steps forward. These steps may feel insignificant in the moment, but over time, they create extraordinary results. This book is your guide to unlocking the transformative power of consistency. Through relatable stories, actionable strategies, and timeless principles, you'll discover how small, consistent actions can reshape every area of your life: your health, your wealth, your relationships, and your personal growth. Here's the truth: most people don't realize success doesn't come from a single breakthrough moment. It comes from the daily, invisible efforts that compound over time. Imagine saving just $1 a day, writing one sentence, or exercising for 10 minutes. At first, the progress feels invisible, almost trivial, but stick with it long enough, and the results become undeniable. This book isn't about motivation or quick wins. Motivation is fleeting, it comes and goes. Instead, you'll learn how to build habits and systems that make showing up effortless. You'll discover how to overcome setbacks, silence your inner perfectionist, and keep going even when life gets hard. By the end of this book, you won't just understand the power of consistency, you'll have a clear roadmap to apply it in your own life. If you're tired of feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or frustrated, this is your chance to break free. Success is closer than you think. It doesn't require monumental effort. It requires small, consistent steps, and the commitment to take them every day. Are you ready to transform your life? Let's take the first step together. Chapter 1. The Myth of Overnight Success. In a society obsessed with speed, the phrase overnight success has become an alluring myth. You've seen it before: the 20-year-old entrepreneur who suddenly becomes a millionaire, the artist whose video went viral, or the fitness influencer who transformed their body in 30 days. The truth is, when you peel back the glamorous layers of these stories, you uncover a much less flashy, but infinitely more powerful force at play: consistency. The world loves to spotlight the breakthrough moment. It's exciting. It sells headlines. But what you rarely see is the years of consistent effort that led to that moment. The entrepreneur worked late nights for a decade. The artist created hundreds of pieces that no one noticed before the one. The athlete trained in empty gyms before stadiums were full. To believe in overnight success is to ignore the process that actually makes it happen. And worse, it sets you up for frustration and failure when you compare your beginning to someone else's pinnacle. Humans crave results. Fast ones. It's why we flock to get-rich-quick schemes, 30-day fitness challenges, and life hacks that promise instant transformation. The rise of social media has only amplified this impatience. Scroll through any feed, and you'll see carefully curated images of success, achievements, and transformations, but rarely the unglamorous consistency it took to get there. Take John, for example. At age 40, he was tired of living paycheck to paycheck. Inspired by a viral video about achieving wealth, John decided to start a business. He poured in his life savings and launched with high hopes. When things didn't take off in the first year, he quit, believing success just wasn't meant for him. What John didn't realize was that success wasn't about hitting a home run his first time at bat. It was about showing up daily, improving his skills, and building something sustainable. Quitting when results didn't come quickly wasn't the failure, his expectations were. Let's pull back the curtain on some examples. J.K. Rowling, now one of the world's richest authors, didn't conjure Harry Potter out of thin air. Before her books sold over 500 million copies, she was a struggling single mother who wrote in cafes, sometimes too broke to afford a coffee. Her manuscript was rejected by 12 publishers. She wasn't chasing overnight success, she was consistent, she wrote. She reworked, she submitted her manuscript again and again, until one yes changed everything. Rowling's success story reminds us of a crucial truth: success looks like failure until it doesn't. Behind every overnight success are thousands of hours of invisible work. rejections, doubts, false starts. But the difference between those who succeed and those who quit isn't luck, it's persistence. Let's do a thought experiment. Imagine you're given the option between 1. $1 million right now, 2. A single penny that doubles in value every day for 31 days. Most people instinctively choose the $1 million. But if you picked the penny, you'd have $10.7 million by the end of 31 days. The math here reveals the principle of compounding, how small, consistent efforts build up exponentially over time. Most people give up on their goals because they don't see results right away. Like the penny, progress starts slow. On day 10, you'd still only have $5.12. By day 20, you'd have $5,243. But from day 21 onward, the growth becomes astonishing. This is the power of consistency. Small steps, repeated daily, lead to results far greater than grand gestures made once. Consider James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. He didn't wake up one day and decide to write a best-selling book. He began by writing blog posts, twice a week, every week. For years, slowly his audience grew, and his writing improved. And by the time he released Atomic Habits, he already had a loyal readership ready to amplify his message. James's success was inevitable because he understood that small, consistent actions compound into something extraordinary. He didn't wait for inspiration, he built a system. Now, think about your own goals. Do you want to write a book? Build a business? Transform your health? The key isn't a monumental, one-time effort. It's showing up every day and taking one step forward, no matter how small. Here's the secret most successful people know: fall in love with the process, not the result. If you're chasing success for the instant reward, you'll burn out before you see results. But if you focus on building consistent habits, the results will take care of themselves. Want to get fit? Commit to 20 minutes of exercise daily. Want to save money? Set aside $5 a day. Want to improve your skills? Spend 30 minutes a day learning. Over time, these small actions become part of who you are. And when you look back months or years later, you'll see how far you've come. Consistency isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Start small. Show up today. And when tomorrow comes, show up again. Remember this: success isn't a single event, it's a series of small choices made over and over again. Quote, "It took me 17 years and 114 days to become an overnight success." Lionel Messi. Chapter 2. The Compound Effect of Small Steps. If you've ever watched a domino fall, you understand the power of small actions. One tiny domino can knock over another slightly larger one, creating a chain reaction that builds unstoppable momentum. In fact, if you start with a 2-inch domino and keep doubling its size, by the 29th domino, it could theoretically knock over one the size of Mount Everest. Consistency works the same way. Small, seemingly insignificant actions accumulate over time, leading to extraordinary results. This is the compound effect, a principle so simple, yet so powerful. It explains why consistency is the real secret to success. At first, consistent small steps don't seem to make much of a difference. You work out for a week, but your reflection looks the same. You save a few dollars, but your bank account barely moves. You read 10 pages a day, but the book still feels endless. This is where most people give up. They believe their efforts are wasted. What they fail to see is that progress, like the compound interest in a savings account, grows exponentially. It starts slow, almost imperceptibly so. But if you stick with it, the results eventually explode. Let's revisit the classic thought experiment from Chapter 1. Would you rather have $1 million right now or a single penny that doubles in value every day for 31 days? At first glance, the $1 million seems like the clear choice. After all, how much difference can a penny make? Here's the breakdown. After 5 days, the penny is worth just 16 cents. After 10 days, it's only $5.12. By day 20, it's $5,243, still nowhere close to $1 million. But here's where the magic happens. The growth compounds. On day 29, the penny becomes $5.3 million. By day 31, it's an astonishing $10.7 million. The lesson? Small steps, repeated consistently, lead to exponential growth. Most people quit too early because they don't see immediate results. But the real transformation happens when you stick with it long enough for the compound effect to take hold. Warren Buffett, one of the richest people in the world, attributes his success not to luck or genius but to the power of compounding. Buffett didn't get rich overnight. He began investing as a child, letting his money grow year after year. By the time he was 30, his net worth was $1 million. Today, at over 90 years old, his fortune exceeds $100 billion, most of which accumulated in the later years of his life. The compound effect isn't just about money. It applies to every area of life. Fitness. You don't lose 50 pounds by running one marathon. You lose it by consistently exercising 30 minutes a day. Learning. You don't become fluent in a language overnight. You study 15 minutes a day for a year. Relationships. Trust isn't built through grand gestures but through small, daily acts of love and care. Imagine lining up 100 dominoes, each one slightly larger than the last. If you push over the first 2-inch domino, it creates a chain reaction that can knock over increasingly bigger dominoes. This is the domino effect, the principle that one small action can trigger a series of larger actions. This is how consistency builds momentum. The first step may feel small, but it creates energy. That energy fuels the next step, and the next, until you're moving forward with unstoppable force. Here's the kicker. The hardest part is getting started. Once the first domino falls, the rest is easier. Think of your goals like dominoes. Want to write a book? Start with 1 page a day. Want to run a marathon? Start with a 5-minute jog. Want to save money? Start with $1 a day. The key is to focus on the first small step. Once you start, momentum will carry you forward. Meet Sarah, a 35-year-old teacher who always dreamed of writing a book. For years, she told herself she didn't have time. Finally, she made a deal with herself. She would write just 250 words a day, the equivalent of 1 page. At first, it felt trivial. 250 words took her 10 minutes. But she stuck with it. By the end of a month, she had written 7,500 words, enough for 2 full chapters. By the end of the year, she had a 90,000-word manuscript, her finished book. Sarah didn't wait for motivation. She didn't overwhelm herself with unrealistic goals. She focused on small, consistent steps. Her book became a bestseller. But to Sarah, the real victory wasn't the book itself. It was the proof that small steps, taken daily, create results beyond what she thought possible. Here are 3 steps to apply the power of small steps in your own life. 1. Start small. Pick one goal and identify the smallest possible action you can take. It might feel insignificant, but that's the point. 2. Be consistent. Commit to showing up every day no matter how small the effort. Progress compounds over time. 3. Trust the process. Results may not be visible immediately. Stay patient. Let the compound effect work its magic. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about showing up. Small steps may not feel glamorous. They don't generate instant excitement. But they are the foundation of every great achievement. The results won't come overnight, but when they do, they'll be far greater than you ever imagined. The compound effect is working for you or against you, whether you realize it or not. Every choice you make today, no matter how small, shapes your future. The question is, will you harness it? Quote, "Great things are not done by impulse, but by a series of small things brought together." Vincent van Gogh. Chapter 3. Why motivation fails and consistency wins. Have you ever felt a surge of motivation? Maybe it was at the start of a new year when you decided to finally get in shape, start that business, or read more books. In that moment, you were ready to take on the world. You felt invincible. Then, life happened. The alarm clock buzzed and you hit snooze. The gym membership sat unused. The business idea never left your notebook. That initial motivation? Gone, replaced by excuses, distractions, and the heavy weight of "I'll start tomorrow." This cycle of fleeting motivation isn't unique to you. It's human nature. We think we need to feel like it to take action. But here's the truth. Motivation is unreliable. Consistency is what wins. Motivation is like a spark. It flares brightly but burns out quickly. Think of it like lighting a match. It's hot for a moment, but unless you have fuel to keep the fire going, it fizzles out. Here's why. 1. Motivation is tied to emotions. When you're excited, energized, or inspired, taking action feels easy. But what happens when you're tired, stressed, or discouraged? You lose momentum. 2. It depends on external triggers. Watching a motivational video might fire you up, But what happens when the video ends? Without something deeper to rely on, you're back where you started. 3. It doesn't create habits. Motivation focuses on short-term excitement, not long-term systems. Real change comes from building habits that don't rely on feeling like it. The motivation trap. Take Alex, for example. At 35, Alex decided to get fit. He bought new workout clothes, signed up for a gym membership, and watched countless motivational videos. For the first 2 weeks, he was unstoppable. He hit the gym every morning and felt amazing. But then, he woke up one day feeling unmotivated. He skipped the gym, just for today. That one day turned into 2, then 3. Before he knew it, weeks had passed and he hadn't set foot in the gym. Alex fell into what I call the motivation trap, believing that action comes after inspiration. The truth? Action creates motivation, not the other way around. If Alex had focused on building a consistent habit, like committing to just 10 minutes of exercise every day, no matter how he felt, he wouldn't have needed motivation to keep going. He would have relied on discipline and consistency instead. Here's the secret. Motivation gets you started, but consistency keeps you going. Habits are the foundation of success. Unlike motivation, they don't rely on how you feel in the moment. Once something becomes a habit, it's automatic. You don't have to think about it. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't need motivation to do it, you just do it. That's the power of consistency. A writer doesn't finish a book because they're inspired every day. They finish because they write every day, even when it's hard. A runner doesn't complete a marathon because they're always excited to train. They show up, run, and trust the process. One of the biggest mistakes people make is focusing on goals without building systems. Goals are important, they give you direction. But systems are what make the goal achievable. Let's break it down. Goal: lose 20 pounds. System: exercise for 30 minutes every day and eat one healthy meal at every sitting. Goal: write a book. System: write 500 words every morning before checking your phone. Goal: save $10,000. System: transfer $10 into a savings account every day. The difference? Goals are about outcomes, systems are about actions. You can't control outcomes, but you can control your actions. When you focus on systems, progress becomes inevitable. What separates those who succeed from those who quit isn't their ability to feel motivated, it's their commitment to taking action, no matter how small. Here's a trick: lower the bar for success. When you don't feel like going to the gym, commit to just 5 minutes. When you don't feel like writing, commit to 1 sentence. When you don't feel like saving money, transfer $1. These small actions eliminate the mental resistance of "I don't feel like it." More often than not, once you start, you'll keep going. Consistency isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing something, even when it's hard. Meet Dave, a college student who struggled to study consistently. He'd set ambitious goals: "I'll study for 4 hours every night," but never followed through. Frustrated, he decided to try a new approach: the 2-minute rule. The rule was simple. If something takes less than 2 minutes, just do it. Instead of committing to 4 hours of study, Dave committed to just 2 minutes of reviewing his notes every night. Some nights, he'd stop after 2 minutes. But most nights he'd keep going, because starting was the hardest part. Within months, studying became a habit. Dave went from failing classes to graduating with honors. The lesson? Start small. Consistency beats motivation every time. Here's how you can shift from relying on motivation to building consistency. 1. Identify your goal. What do you want to achieve? 2. Create a system. What small action can you take every day to move closer to your goal? 3. Lower the bar. Make the action so small it's impossible to fail. 4. Track your progress. Use a calendar or journal to track your consistency. Seeing your streak will motivate you to keep going. 5. Focus on the process, not the outcome. Success comes from showing up, not being perfect. Motivation may get you to the starting line, but consistency will get you to the finish line. Remember this: you don't have to feel like it. You just have to show up. Small actions, taken daily, will transform your life. The next time you find yourself waiting for motivation, remind yourself: action creates motivation, not the other way around. Start small. Show up. Trust the process. Quote, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." James Clear. Chapter 4. Building systems, not just goals. At the beginning of every year, millions of people set lofty goals: lose 30 pounds, write a book, save $20,000, run a marathon. The enthusiasm is high, the vision is clear, and they're ready to tackle their ambitions. Then, a month passes. The gym is empty. The notebook is gathering dust. The savings account is barely touched. Why? Because goals alone don't work. Goals give you a destination, but they don't tell you how to get there. The missing link is a system, the consistent, daily actions that move you forward. Goals are important. They give you clarity, purpose, and direction. But goals have a problem. 1. Goals focus on outcomes, not actions. Saying, "I want to lose 30 pounds" doesn't tell you what to do today. 2. Goals rely on willpower. Willpower is limited. You can't depend on it every day to push you toward your goal. 3. Goals create a finish line mentality. Once you achieve the goal, you often stop the behavior that got you there. Ever heard of someone who loses weight only to gain it all back? Let's break it down further. Imagine two people. Person A sets a goal to run a marathon. They train inconsistently, pushing hard when they feel motivated and skipping workouts when they don't. Person B creates a system. They commit to running for 10 minutes every morning, no matter what. Rain or shine, tired or energized, they show up. Who do you think will succeed? Person B, because their focus isn't on the marathon itself but on building the habit of running daily. This is the power of systems. Systems make success inevitable. A system is a repeated process that focuses on the actions you can control every day. Unlike goals, which are about the result, systems are about the process. Here's the key. If you focus on your system, the results take care of themselves. Goal: write a book. System: write 500 words every morning. Goal: get fit. System: exercise for 30 minutes every day and drink 1 gallon of water. Goal: save money. System: transfer $5 to your savings account every day. When you have a system, you no longer depend on motivation, willpower, or luck. Success becomes a natural byproduct of showing up consistently. Meet Brian, a musician who always dreamed of playing guitar like a pro. For years, he'd set the same goal. This year, I'll practice every day and get better. But by February, his guitar was sitting in the corner untouched. Frustrated, Brian decided to change his approach. Instead of setting a goal, he created a system. He would practice for just 10 minutes a day, no matter what. No excuses. Some days, 10 minutes was all he did. Other days, he'd find himself playing for an hour because he got into a rhythm. But the rule stayed the same: 10 minutes. Within a year, Brian's progress was staggering. He went from struggling to play basic chords to mastering songs he'd once thought impossible. The system worked because it was small, consistent, and manageable. Brian didn't focus on becoming great at guitar. He focused on the habit of showing up every day. Here's something most successful people know. Success isn't about the finish line. It's about falling in love with the process. Athletes don't train because they love sweating. Writers don't write because they love staring at a blank page. They show up because they trust the process and they know that results will follow. When you shift your focus from goals to systems, something amazing happens. 1. You eliminate pressure. You're no longer worried about the result. You just focus on showing up. 2. You create momentum. Each small action builds energy, making it easier to keep going. 3. You enjoy the journey. Instead of stressing over the outcome, you find satisfaction in progress. Here are 5 steps to create a system that will help you achieve any goal. 1. Start small. Identify the smallest, simplest action you can take every day. Example: write 1 sentence, do 1 push-up, save $1. 2. Make it consistent. Choose a specific time or trigger to build the habit. Example: write at 8 a.m., work out after brushing your teeth. 3. Track your progress. Use a habit tracker, calendar, or journal to mark each day you complete your action. 4. Eliminate obstacles. Remove anything that might get in your way. Lay out your gym clothes, set reminders, or block distractions. 5. Focus on the action, not the outcome. Trust that the results will come as long as you stick to the system. Famous comedian Jerry Seinfeld once shared his secret to success: the don't break the chain method. Early in his career, Seinfeld set a system for writing jokes. Every day he would write at least 1 new joke, no matter what. To track his progress, he hung a large calendar on the wall. Each day he wrote, he'd mark an X on the calendar. Over time, the X's formed a chain. His goal became simple: don't break the chain. This small, consistent action led to a decades-long career as one of the greatest comedians of all time. If you take away one thing from this chapter, let it be this: goals give you a direction, but systems create the path. Don't focus on the end result. Focus on the small actions you can take every single day. Show up consistently. Trust the process. Before long, you'll look back and realize you've achieved far more than you ever imagined, one small step at a time. Quote, "You do not set out to build a wall. You lay one brick perfectly every single day, and eventually you have a wall." Will Smith. Chapter 5. The Power of Showing Up Daily. Consistency is not about being perfect, it's about showing up, even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like it, even when the results seem invisible. Showing up daily is what separates those who achieve extraordinary results from those who only dream about them. When you show up every day, you prove something to yourself: that you can be relied upon, that you keep your promises, and that you are moving forward, even if it's only an inch at a time. Showing up daily creates a powerful force that builds momentum, reshapes your habits, and transforms your identity. This chapter will show you why showing up daily is the most important action you can take, and how to make it easier to do so. Most people overestimate what they can achieve in a single day and underestimate what they can achieve in a year of showing up consistently. Here's what happens when you show up daily. 1. You build momentum. Starting is the hardest part. Once you show up, the resistance fades, and it becomes easier to keep going. 2. You strengthen your identity. Every time you show up, you reinforce the belief: this is who I am. If you write every day, you become a writer. If you exercise daily, you become a fit person. 3. You remove the need for motivation. Showing up becomes a habit. You don't think about it, you just do it. Imagine pushing a giant boulder. At first, it's heavy and hard to move. But as you push, it starts to roll. The longer you push, the more momentum it gains. Eventually, the boulder moves with little effort. Consistency works the same way. Showing up daily pushes the boulder. Skipping even a day stops the momentum, making it harder to start again. The 1% rule. Small improvements add up. The concept of showing up is powerful because it aligns with the 1% rule, the idea that small, daily improvements compound into massive results over time. Imagine improving just 1% every day. It's such a small amount that it seems insignificant. But here's the math. After 1 year, improving 1% daily makes you 37 times better than when you started. If you let yourself decline by 1% daily, you end up close to zero. The difference between showing up and not showing up every day is enormous. Comedian Jerry Seinfeld, one of the most successful stand-up comedians of all time, once shared his secret to success: don't break the chain. Early in his career, Seinfeld committed to writing at least one joke every day. He hung a calendar on the wall, and every day he wrote, he marked a big red X on the calendar. Soon, those X's formed a chain. His goal? Don't break the chain. Seinfeld didn't worry about writing perfect jokes. He focused on showing up daily. Over time, the habit of writing every day made him one of the greatest comedians in the world. The lesson is simple. Showing up daily, no matter how small the effort, creates massive results over time. When you show up daily, you aren't just creating results, you're creating a new identity. Every time you take action, you send a message to yourself: I am a writer. I am someone who works out. I am someone who keeps promises to myself. Over time, your identity shifts. You no longer rely on motivation because taking action becomes part of who you are. Here's the secret. Identity change happens through action, not words. You don't become a writer by saying, I want to write. You become a writer by writing every day. If you want to change your life, start by showing up. Here's how to make it easier to show up daily, even when you don't feel like it. 1. Lower the bar. Make the action so small that it's impossible to fail. Want to exercise? Commit to 5 minutes. Want to write? Commit to 1 sentence. Small wins keep you moving forward. 2. Use triggers. Connect your habit to something you already do. Example. Write right after your morning coffee. Meditate after brushing your teeth. 3. Track your progress. Use a calendar, habit tracker, or journal to track your streak. Seeing your progress will motivate you to keep going. 4. Focus on the process, not perfection. Some days will feel harder than others. That's okay. The goal isn't to be perfect, it's to show up. Remember, the effort doesn't need to be huge, it just needs to be consistent. Mark, an aspiring novelist, struggled for years to write his first book. Every time he sat down to write, he felt overwhelmed by the enormity of the task. How can I write 300 pages? He thought. One day he decided to stop focusing on the goal and start focusing on the process. He made a rule: write just 1 page a day. Some days that single page felt easy. Other days it felt like climbing a mountain. But Mark stuck with it. Page by page, day by day, his book came together. A year later, Mark held the completed manuscript in his hands. The lesson? You don't have to finish the whole book today. You just have to write the next page. If you struggle to show up, try the 2-minute rule. Commit to just 2 minutes of the habit. Meditate for 2 minutes. Write for 2 minutes. Exercise for 2 minutes. Once you start, you'll often keep going. But even if you stop after 2 minutes, you've succeeded, because you showed up. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. Success isn't built on grand gestures. It's built on showing up every single day, even when it's hard, even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like it. Remember, action comes before motivation. Quote, show up first, and the rest will follow. 80% of success is showing up. Woody Allen. Chapter 6. Overcoming obstacles to consistency. Consistency is simple, but it's not always easy. Life throws distractions, setbacks, and challenges your way. You'll have days when the path feels smooth and days when every step forward feels like pushing through quicksand. This is normal. Consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about navigating obstacles and showing up anyway. This chapter will help you identify the biggest obstacles to consistency and give you tools to overcome them. Obstacle 1. Waiting for motivation. The most common excuse for inconsistency is, I just don't feel like it today. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for lightning to strike. It's unreliable, unpredictable, and out of your control. Successful people don't wait for motivation, they take action regardless of how they feel. Here's the truth. Motivation follows action, not the other way around. Don't feel like working out? Commit to just 5 minutes. Don't feel like writing? Commit to 1 sentence. Don't feel like saving money? Transfer $1 to your savings account. Once you start, the momentum will build. Action is the spark that ignites motivation. Even small steps create energy and help you move forward. Obstacle 2. Perfectionism. Perfectionism is the enemy of consistency. You tell yourself, if I can't do it perfectly, I won't do it at all. This mindset kills progress before it begins. Imagine trying to run a marathon. You wouldn't expect yourself to sprint the whole way. Yet when it comes to our goals, we often demand perfection, and when we fall short, we quit. The solution: focus on progress, not perfection. Progress, no matter how small, is still progress. Didn't make it to the gym? Do 10 push-ups at home. Didn't write a full page? Write a paragraph? Ate one unhealthy meal? Make your next meal healthy. Consistency isn't about getting it perfect. It's about showing up and moving forward, even if the effort is small. Remember, done is better than perfect. Obstacle 3. Lack of time. How many times have you said, I just don't have time? It's the most common excuse for inconsistency. But here's the truth. Time isn't the problem, prioritization is. Successful people don't find time. They make time for what matters. The solution: prioritize your small actions. 1. Audit your time. Track how you spend your day. You'll find hidden hours wasted on social media, TV, or distractions. 2. Time block. Schedule your small, consistent actions as non-negotiable appointments. Treat them as seriously as a meeting. 3. Focus on small wins. You don't need an hour to exercise, 10 minutes is enough. Don't wait for more time. Start with what you have. When you prioritize consistency, even small pockets of time can drive massive results. Obstacle 4. Fear of failure. Fear of failure often stops people from showing up. You worry about looking foolish, making mistakes, or falling short, so you do nothing instead. But here's the irony. By avoiding failure, you guarantee it. The solution: embrace failure as part of the process. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of success. Every mistake is a stepping stone. Every setback is a lesson. Consistency is about showing up and learning, even when you fail. Didn't hit your writing goal today? Learn what distracted you and adjust. Missed a workout? Show up tomorrow and keep going. When you redefine failure as feedback, it loses its power. Consistency becomes easier because you're no longer afraid to stumble. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His invention of the light bulb wasn't a stroke of genius that happened overnight. It was the result of thousands of experiments, countless setbacks, and moments of failure. Yet, Edison didn't view these failures as the end of the road. To him, each failed attempt was simply a piece of information, one more step towards success. Now, imagine if Edison had given up after his first setback, or his 100th, or even his 1000th. If he had, the world might still be in the dark. Edison's story isn't just a testament to innovation, it's a masterclass in consistency. His success didn't come from brilliance alone. It came from the relentless act of showing up. Day after day, experiment after experiment, Edison tried, failed, adjusted, and kept going, until he finally got it right. This wasn't luck or a moment of inspiration, it was the unstoppable power of consistency in action. Obstacle 5. Losing sight of the big picture. Sometimes, you lose motivation because the goal feels too far away. Progress is slow, and you feel like your efforts don't matter. The solution: focus on the process and celebrate small wins. The big picture can feel overwhelming, so zoom in on the daily process. Celebrate the small victories. Wrote 100 words today? That's 100 words closer to your book. Exercise for 10 minutes? That's 10 minutes you didn't spend sitting. Saved $1? That's $1 more than yesterday. Small wins build confidence and momentum. They remind you that progress, however small, is still progress. To avoid falling off track completely, use the 2-day rule. Never skip your habit 2 days in a row. Missing 1 day is normal. Life happens. But missing 2 days creates a new habit, one of inconsistency. The 2-day rule keeps you on track without requiring perfection. Meet Amanda, a mother of 2 who dreamed of running her first marathon. At first, Amanda was consistent. She woke up early, laced up her shoes, and ran every morning. Then life got in the way. Her kids got sick. Her work hours increased. Some mornings she missed her run. But Amanda had a rule: never miss 2 days in a row. Even if she could only run for 5 minutes, she showed up. 6 months later, Amanda crossed the finish line of her first marathon. She didn't succeed because she was perfect, she succeeded because she was consistent. Consistency doesn't mean you won't face obstacles. It means you'll overcome them. When you don't feel like it, show up anyway. When you fail, get back up. When time feels scarce, make it work. Success isn't about being perfect. It's about refusing to quit. Show up, keep going, and trust that every small step is moving you forward. Quote, "The successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus." Bruce Lee. Chapter 7. How consistency transforms every area of life. Consistency is the great equalizer. No matter where you start, no matter what your challenges are, showing up daily and committing to small, deliberate actions can transform every area of your life. Whether it's your health, wealth, relationships, or personal growth, the formula for success remains the same. Small steps, repeated consistently, produce big results. In this chapter, we'll explore how consistency can create profound change across 4 key areas of life. Through relatable stories and actionable advice, you'll see that your daily habits have the power to reshape your reality, one small step at a time. When it comes to health, most people look for quick fixes, crash diets, intense workout plans, or miracle pills. But sustainable health doesn't come from extreme measures. It comes from small, consistent habits that compound over time. Take Jake, for example. At 45, Jake was overweight, exhausted, and pre-diabetic. Frustrated with his health, he decided to make a change, but instead of following a fad diet or joining an intense fitness boot camp, Jake started small. He walked for 10 minutes every morning. He replaced 1 sugary drink with water. He added 1 serving of vegetables to his meals. These changes seemed minor, insignificant even, but Jake stuck with them. Over the months, 10-minute walks turned into 30-minute jogs. 1 serving of vegetables turned into a plate full of healthy food. A year later, Jake had lost 50 pounds, reversed his prediabetes, and had more energy than ever. His transformation didn't come from one big effort. It came from small, daily actions that added up over time. Health isn't about perfection, it's about showing up consistently. Move your body, drink more water, and make small improvements to your diet every day. Over time, these steps lead to life-changing results. Wealth isn't built overnight. It's built $1, one decision, one day at a time. Yet many people avoid saving or investing because they believe it requires a large amount of money to make a difference. Consider Sarah, a young professional who struggled to save money. Every month, she'd tell herself she'd start saving when she earned more. But that day never seemed to come. Then Sarah learned about the power of consistency. She committed to saving just $5 a day, an amount so small it felt effortless. Over time, Sarah didn't miss the $5, but she did notice something surprising: her savings began to grow. By the end of the year, Sarah had saved $1,825 without even thinking about it. Inspired by her progress, she started learning about compound interest and began investing a portion of her savings. Years later, those small daily contributions had grown into a sizable investment portfolio. Key lesson: wealth isn't about earning a fortune overnight. It's about consistent habits, spending less, saving daily, and letting compound interest do the heavy lifting. When people think about improving relationships, they often imagine grand romantic gestures or dramatic efforts to fix things. But the truth is, strong relationships are built on the small, consistent actions that show love, care, and attention every single day. Take the story of Ben and Mia, a married couple who found themselves drifting apart. Life got busy. Work, kids, and daily stress left little time for connection. Their conversations became routine, and their relationship began to feel stale. Instead of making a grand overhaul, Ben and Mia committed to small, daily changes. 5-minute check-ins every night to share one thing they appreciated about each other. A weekly date night, no matter how simple, like a walk in the park or cooking dinner together. Small acts of kindness, like leaving a note or giving a spontaneous compliment. These tiny actions didn't seem life-changing in the moment, but over time they added up. Ben and Mia felt more connected, appreciated, and valued. Their relationship grew stronger, not through one big fix, but through consistent, daily effort. Key lesson: strong relationships aren't built on occasional grand gestures. They're built on small, meaningful actions taken consistently over time. Personal growth is often seen as an overwhelming task. People try to fix their entire lives in 1 month, only to burn out and revert to old habits. But true transformation happens one small step at a time. Meet Rachel, a woman who wanted to improve her mindset, confidence, and productivity. At first she felt overwhelmed. There was so much to change that she didn't know where to start. Instead of trying to overhaul everything at once, Rachel began focusing on one small habit. She read 10 pages of a book every morning. She wrote one sentence of gratitude in a journal. She spent 10 minutes meditating each day. At first these habits felt trivial, but over time they compounded. Rachel's reading helped her develop new skills and gain confidence. Journaling shifted her mindset to one of gratitude and positivity. Meditation gave her focus and clarity. A year later, Rachel looked back and realized how much she had grown. She had read 12 books, improved her mental health, and achieved goals she once thought impossible. Key lesson: personal growth isn't about drastic change. It's about showing up daily and taking small, meaningful steps forward. Whether it's health, wealth, relationships, or personal growth, the formula for transformation is the same: small actions. Identify the tiniest step you can take, daily consistency. Show up every single day, no matter how small the effort. Trust the process. Progress may seem slow, but over time the results are extraordinary. When you commit to small, consistent actions, you build momentum, reshape your habits, and create change that lasts. Practical takeaways: how to start transforming every area of your life. 1. Pick one area to focus on. Don't try to fix everything at once. Start small. 2. Identify one small action you can take daily. Example: walk for 10 minutes, save $5, express one compliment, or read 10 pages. 3. Track your progress. Use a journal, calendar, or habit tracker to keep yourself accountable. 4. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledge progress, no matter how small. Remember, consistency is the key that unlocks transformation. The power to transform your life is already within you. You don't need to take massive leaps. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up, take small steps, and trust that consistency will carry you forward. Health, wealth, relationships, growth. Every part of your life can change. One day at a time. Quote, what you do every day matters more than what you do once in a while. Gretchen Rubin. Chapter 8. Your Consistency Roadmap. Consistency has the power to transform your life. Over the past chapters, we've explored how small, daily actions compound into extraordinary results, whether in your health, wealth, relationships, or personal growth. Now it's time to take action. This chapter will provide you with a simple, actionable roadmap to build consistency into your life. No more waiting, no more excuses. If you're ready to bridge the gap between where you are now and where you want to be, this roadmap will guide you step by step. Step 1. Start small, shrink the goal. The most common mistake people make is starting too big. When the action feels overwhelming, you procrastinate or quit entirely. The solution? Shrink the goal. Want to start exercising? Don't aim for an hour. Start with 5 minutes. Want to write a book? Don't aim for a chapter. Write one sentence. Want to save money? Don't aim for $500 a month. Save $1 a day. Small actions eliminate resistance. They're so simple that you have no excuse not to do them. Key tip. Use the 2-minute rule. If the action takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. Once you start, it's easier to keep going. Step 2. Build a habit loop. Consistency becomes easier when you turn actions into habits. Habits are automatic behaviors. They don't require willpower or motivation. Here's how to create a habit loop. 1. Cue. A trigger that reminds you to take action. Example. After I brush my teeth, I'll meditate for 2 minutes. 2. Routine. The small, consistent action you take. Example. Meditate for 2 minutes. 3. Reward. A positive reinforcement that makes the habit stick. Example. Enjoy a moment of calm after meditating. Repeat this loop daily until the action becomes automatic. Example. Cue. Place your gym clothes next to your bed. Routine. Exercise for 10 minutes in the morning. Reward. Enjoy your favorite smoothie afterward. Step 3. Track your progress. Don't break the chain. What gets measured gets managed. Tracking your progress creates accountability and motivation. Use the don't break the chain method. 1. Get a calendar or habit tracker. 2. Each day you complete your habit, mark an X on the calendar. 3. Your goal is simple. Don't break the chain. Seeing a visual streak of progress will keep you motivated to show up daily. Even on days when you don't feel like it, you won't want to break the chain. Step 4. Focus on process, not perfection. Consistency isn't about doing it perfectly, it's about showing up, even when it's messy, even when it's hard. You'll have days when you feel tired, distracted, or unmotivated. That's okay. On those days, focus on doing something, no matter how small. Progress, however tiny, is still progress. Step 5. Overcome setbacks, the 2-day rule. Setbacks are inevitable. You'll miss a day. Life will get in the way. The key is to avoid turning one missed day into 2. If you miss one day, make sure you don't miss the next. Missing one day is a small hiccup. Missing 2 days creates a habit of inconsistency. Example. If you miss a workout, show up the next day, even if it's just 5 minutes. Step 6. Celebrate small wins. Consistency thrives on positive reinforcement. Celebrating your progress, even the smallest wins, builds motivation and momentum. Examples of small wins. Writing for 5 minutes. Saving $2. Exercising for 10 minutes. Each win is a step forward. Each step forward is proof that you're moving closer to your goals. Key tip. Write down one win every day. Over time, you'll see how much progress you've made. Step 7. Trust the process. The results of consistency aren't always visible immediately. This is where most people quit, but success requires patience. Remember the penny experiment. Small actions compound over time, creating exponential growth. Trust that your efforts, no matter how small, are working. If you're saving $1 a day, trust the process. If you're writing 1 page a day, trust the process. If you're walking for 10 minutes a day, trust the process. Results take time, but they will come. Keep showing up. Your consistency roadmap in action. Here's a simple roadmap to get started. 1. Choose your focus. Pick one area of your life: health, wealth, relationships, or personal growth. 2. Identify a small action. Shrink the goal to the smallest, easiest step. 3. Create a habit loop. Use a cue, routine, and reward to build momentum. 4. Track your progress. Use a calendar or habit tracker to not break the chain. 5. Focus on progress. Show up daily, no matter how imperfect. 6. Overcome setbacks. Use the 2-day rule to get back on track. 7. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledge every step forward. Meet Emily. A year ago, Emily was stuck. She wanted to lose weight, save money, and improve her mindset, but the goals felt overwhelming. Emily decided to start small. She walked for 10 minutes a day. She saved $1 a day. She wrote one positive thought in her journal daily. At first, her progress felt invisible, but Emily trusted the process. Day by day, her habits compounded. A year later, Emily had lost 25 pounds. She saved $365 and began investing. Her mindset was more positive and resilient. Emily didn't achieve her success through perfection. She achieved it through consistency, small steps, taken daily. Consistency is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. You don't need to take massive action. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to take the first small step. Show up, start small, trust the process. Your life will transform, not through grand gestures, but through the power of showing up every single day. Success is inevitable when you're consistent. Start today. Quote, "Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out." Robert Collier. Take care and be well.